When I'm going.
Okay,
Get
so let's continue. We were looking at the factors that affect the performance of the network. The first thing we mentioned was the number of devices on the network. We discussed about that. And then we looked at the bandwidth of the transmission medium. All right. We also, we finished that point as well. And then we also looked at the type of the network traffic. Okay. So today we are going to proceed and we'll start off with network latency. Can you all guys see my presentation? Yeah.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, network latency.
Yeah.
So what is network latency? And how does it, what is it first?
Network latency is the measure of how long it takes the message to travel from one device to another after the network.
Oh, so you are reading from my presentation, right? Yeah, but it's okay. Now, you just read, but you did not tell us in your own words. Can you please tell us what did you read, or what is that statement saying? It's the measure of how long it takes a message to travel from one device to another across the network. I think that is simple. It's straightforward. It's understandable, right? Ocean, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. David.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Define. Tell us. What did you mean by that, or what does that sentence say? Oh, yes. Tell us.
I think I think that network latency means like
okay, no,
how to take for the message to in the maybe I don't know the speed is all about the speed for the message from one place to another place.
In the network.
That's what I think about the speed, how in the network, but in the network itself, I never know about the speed.
No, okay, it's fine. It's okay. I think your network is having a problem. Okay, Lucia, tell us what do you understand by the network latency?
Network latency, the way I understood it, it's the rate at which the message takes to travel from one device to the other.
To another.
Yes.
Okay.
Or the time it takes for the message to travel from one device to another device.
To another.
Across the network.
Yes, that is correct. Okay. So meaning simply we said let's look at this at a typical simple example. Okay. So if you have two cars, now you have you want to travel to Okahanja from Windhoek, right? So that speed, that the time it takes you to travel from Okahanja, from Windhoek to Okahanja, okay? Right? So that speed, like how long does it take you? Okay? Now, okay, let's just move on with what the definition here or explanation. So say in terms of, now in terms of network latency, this can be defined by the time it takes for a request to travel from the sender to the receiver and from the receiver to process that request, okay? For example, if you are searching for something, for information on the internet, how long does it take you for you to receive the reply? Okay, that period of time is what we refer to as latency. Okay, so because you sit in front of your computer and you look for a certain definition of a certain terminology. For instance, you're looking for the definition of the word latency. So you go to your search engine, you type in the search area, and then you click on search. So that, and then the results will be displayed onto your screen. So that period of time it takes for you to receive the reply. Okay. Because as you said here, it's defined by the time it takes for a request. Because you request for a web page from the server, and then the server processes your request and it gives the feedback. So that period of time between sender and the receiver for your request to be processed. Okay? So in other words, the round trip time from the browser to the server, this is what I've said, okay? So the time it takes from the browser, you are using the browser to browse the net, okay? And then the server responds by sending you feedback, okay? So that time, that period of time, right? Or if you take an example there, like the first one that I gave, if you say, please drive for me, go and collect my parcel. I'm here in Windhoek, please drive to Okahanja, okay? And please, by 2 o'clock, I should receive my parcel here, okay? So the time that this person takes to go to Okahanja and come back to Windhoek. So that's what we refer to as the network latency, okay? So from the source, you send a message from one computer to another, and then the other one has to respond. So that time in between is what we refer to as latency, network latency, okay? Right, now we're saying it is obviously decided for time to determine, to remain close, okay, no, I think this one is not, okay, now, let's look at this part here. So we're saying a network with low latency experiences few delays, okay? It experiences what? Few delays in transmission. So if there is low latency in what? In the network, then definitely you have few delays in the data transmission. That is basically what that statement that I've highlighted it said, okay? Right? So whereas with the high network latency, it experiences what? Many delays. I hope you guys understand what the difference, or what are these two statements as it's saying, okay? So we are saying a network with low latency, okay? Low latency, meaning, what do you mean by with low latency? It means if I say, please, if you send something, if you send a message from one computer to another, and it should take 3 milliseconds for you to get your reply, okay? So that network, and then if that is the case, and then you send a message, or you are searching for something, you request a web page from the web server, okay? And then it only takes you 3 milliseconds for you to get the result. So that network have got a low latency. But if you send a request to the server, and then it takes maybe 6 milliseconds, okay? So that network have got high latency. It will experience it because there are delays. It takes more than what I'm expecting. So the time it takes for me to receive my results, it's high. Okay, I think you guys are getting the difference, getting the difference between low latency and high latency. Are we all together so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so low latency and high latency. Okay, so now what causes the high latency is due to maybe there are so many delays in the network. Okay, right? And okay, people, listen. Our session is going to end in 10 minutes. So once it stops, I'm going to request another meeting, the new details, and then I'll send you to the group, and you have to log in there. Yeah. Please, I don't want noisy backgrounds, guys, or else I'll mute you. But I don't like muting students because I want that interaction, the discussion between us. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So let's move on, guys. So it says the more delays there are, the longer it takes to transmit data across the network. This is straightforward, it's simple, it's understandable, yeah? So if it's taking longer for you to receive your replies, okay? It means that that a network have got, so the latency is high, Okay, I think that is, I think it's straightforward. Okay, and there are some factors that causes high latency in the network, right? So now let's quickly look at some of the factors that causes network latency, the cause of latency in the network, okay? So what causes the network, right, to behave such? Like if you send a request, you only receive, if you send a request today, you only get your request tomorrow this time, okay? So what causes that delay? What are the causes of network latency? The first one is transmission medium, okay? Such as WAN or fiber optic cables all have limitation and can affect latency, okay? So all these things, the transmission medium, remember when you're transmitting data from a source to the data, okay? There are medium that you use. Either you transmit data or using wires, okay? So here, this is why we are having one or you have limitations. This is what? Latency. Like if you look at wireless, things that causes incidents, right? If the keyboard, if we go more in detail, that I with the network medium. Okay, so the transmission mediums also are different. The second, propagation. What is propagation? Propagation.
It's the time taken to. I think it's a time taken from traveling from one place to another. Yes.
Okay. So now you're telling me latency and propagation is the same thing.
It seems like.
Because you said it's a time destination. That's what you say. So now the propagation is okay. Propagation.
I think the message being divided into packets.
Okay.
It will not travel as one message, but then it's divided into packets. It will those packets to their destination to regroup to make that whole message. I think that's what propagation means.
Yes. Okay, so you are saying propagation is now the assembling of the data packets when they arrive at the destination, each one on its own, and then once it reaches the destination.
Yes. So the time it takes for all the packets to the destination and be assembled
to reach the destination. Okay, yes, you are correct. But the propagation is this process, the whole process, like when you are the process when the packets are from the destination. This it doesn't or less, but propagation time. I mean that process of transferring data to destination. To propagate the propagation.
No.
No, then how different is it from latency? No.
Sorry?
It sounds how different
So with
is it from
latency, with less times, the time is taken into consideration. Latency, how fast? What are the links between? But with propagation, not necessarily the amount of time it takes. Whether it's slow or whether there's some distance, the packets are propagating. So are we guys putting the difference between them?
Can you please repeat it?
Okay, what I'm saying is, if you look at let's go back to latency. From the time it takes, that's very okay.
It's for a request, not for a message.
So what are you requesting? Yeah, let's have a conversation so that at the end of the day we understand. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
I want to ask about that network latency. Let me say, is that involved in like Bluetooth WhatsApp when I'm sending SMS on WhatsApp, or maybe sending anything to WhatsApp, and maybe by when I'm calling to receive maybe a call in that moment, because sometimes of the calls they use, I called, but it's taking time to start ringing and all those things. It's how it's made, like it's how it's happening through the network.
I'm trying to get your question, but can you just say it again for the last time?
As I said, in Bluetooth and maybe Bluetooth and Bluetooth and when using maybe to send SMS through WhatsApp, it's almost the same that's involved, is it?
David, your line
Is that network? Let me say, is network latency involved when I'm sending you maybe a music video through Bluetooth?
But so your question is, can does it also, do you also experience a network latency or what? Is that what your question is on?
No, it's because it's like it's saying that it's how long it take the messenger to travel from one place to another place. That's the reason I'm asking you that. Yeah, now it's Bluetooth. It's using that network latency to so I can. So let me say, is Bluetooth involved in this kind of network latency? Is it?
Yes, definitely.
When I'm sending you SMS.
Yes, definitely. Because let's say, for instance, if you are sending a file, okay? If you're sending a file using a Bluetooth, and one person is standing 5 meters from the source, and the second one is standing 10 meters. So